Welcome to Cancer Research Africa. I'm Abimbola Odedina. I'm the host, producer, and media director of Cancer Research Africa Media. Cancer Research Africa is pleased to introduce our new segment titled Establishing Successful Research Scholarship. In this segment, we will focus on equipping African cancer scientists, postdoctoral fellows, graduate students, and clinical residents with research scholarship skills, which include grant writing, publishing, presenting, developing a collaborative team, networking, mentoring, and many more. We know how important this segment is to the development of cancer research in Africa. Therefore, we've collaborated with a world-renowned expert who experienced an impressive global cancer research program for over 30 years. We know how important this segment is to the development of cancer research in Africa. Therefore, we've collaborated with a world-renowned expert who's established an impressive global cancer research program for over 30 years. Our guest chief international correspondent for the Cancer Research Africa Research Scholarship segment is the amazing Professor Folakemi Odedina. Thank you so much for coming to our segment and welcome to Cancer Research Africa. How are you doing?
I am doing extremely well. Thanks for the nice introduction. I am really super excited about this collaboration with Cancer Research Africa, and I look forward to hosting the research scholarship segment. By the way, congratulations, over 8,000 views on your podcast in a few short time. Really, I think this underscores the hard work of your team at Cancer Research Africa. So congratulations on the amazing results.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's very exciting. We just launched not too long ago. Like you said, already over 8,000 views in general and almost at 100 subscribers. It's very exciting. I'm so very thankful for all of my team for collaborating and putting in so much effort into Cancer Research Africa. Now, we would briefly like you to introduce yourself and the research scholarship segment to our audience.
So briefly, just introducing myself. As you mentioned, I am Professor Folakemi Odedina. I am Professor of Oncology, as well as Professor of Quantitative Health Sciences at Mayo Clinic. Also, I serve and have the privilege of just being newly appointed the Enterprise Deputy Director for Community Outreach and Engagement for the Mayo Clinic Comprehensive Cancer Center. I am also the Site Director for the Center for Health Equity and Community Engagement Research at Mayo Clinic, Florida, and also serve as the Director for that center's Global Health Equity Initiatives. In addition, I am the Principal Investigator and the founder for the Prostate Cancer Transatlantic Consortium, which is a global consortium that focuses on addressing prostate cancer globally, and also have the privilege of serving as the chair for the research committee for the African Organization for Research and Training in Cancer.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for telling us a little bit more about yourself. Now, bringing us into our next question, tell us a little bit more about your personal journey from where you started to where you are now.
Oh my goodness, that is going back memory lane. But I can start by actually saying I am proud to note that I was born in Abeokuta, Nigeria. So I am a proud Egba woman. Although I was born in Abeokuta, my parents didn't stay there for long. Shortly after I was born, they moved to Lagos, Nigeria. So I was essentially grew up in Lagos, and that's kind of where my early years, and that's what I call home. But I'm still an Igba woman, true and truly to the core. So I went to an amazing primary school that is called the Apostolic Primary School, which was at church school. Had an amazing experience there. Onward from that primary school, I went to the Methodist Girls High School, yes, the MGHS, also in Lagos. And from Methodist Girls High School, I went to University of Ife, which is now known as Obafemi Awolowo University. But at that time, it was known as University of Great Ife. And that's where I actually specialized and I got my bachelor's in pharmacy. I practiced as a pharmacist, I think for about 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years or so. And then I moved to England briefly. I'm from England. I moved to Gainesville, Florida to get my PhD in pharmaceutical sciences. So that's kind of where I sort of had my journey. So I am a true to heart Nigerian woman with Africa on my heart, although I live and I work in the United States. So I've been sort of, as you said, as you mentioned, I've been in this area for 30 years. And it's just going to be an amazing journey. And one of the things that I would like to really showcase as we put this segment together is to sort of showcase how if you are, if you are working in Africa, how you really can excel outstandingly in your research. So we'll be bringing a lot of outstanding, renowned global experts to sort of talk about research scholarship.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, why did you decide to focus your research on cancer, and when did you start to focus on cancer research?
That's a great question. So, because after graduating from University of Florida, so I actually went to University of Florida to get my PhD in Gainesville. My first academic appointment was at West Virginia University in Morgantown. And at that time, I really was doing community-based intervention studies in which I was opening up sites, for example, in community pharmacies for the intervention that we were using to address disparities in rural Appalachia. But I did that for about 3 years, and it was just kind of like a calling, because I felt in my heart that I wanted to do something that is just beyond getting the grants, getting the scholarships, writing the papers, getting the awards. Very early on in my career, I was very blessed. I was getting grants, I was getting awards, I was getting recognized for the work that I did. But I wanted to make a lot of difference, especially in the Black community. And so I thought to myself that if I was going to make any impact, I wanted to work in a population that really experiences the most disparities, and that's Black men. And at that time, which was literally about 25 years ago, in 1996 to be exact, at that time, I kind of thought about you know what, there is need to really focus on prostate cancer, because prostate cancer affects Black men disproportionately, and prostate cancer is not only something that affects Black men in the United States, but also back in my continent and in my country, in Africa and in Nigeria, respectively. It also affects Black men. It also affects all Black men globally. So I decided that I was going to focus focus my research on prostate cancer disparities in Black men.
Perfect. And we're very, very glad you did with all the amazing work that you've done. Wouldn't have it any other way. And we're very happy that you decided to go that route. Now, what would you say personally has been the most impactful step that you have taken within your career?
The most impactful step, you know what, if you indulge me, I think I would talk about two. I think the very first, most impactful step that has really defined my career and has helped me a lot is realizing early on during my career that I really needed to do what is known as community engagement research and partner with prostate cancer survivors to be able to address prostate cancer in Black men and in Black communities globally. As a scientist, I have my expertise in the area that I work in, but the people who have the expertise in the area of that chronic disease is actually the Black men who really have had prostate cancer. So it was very important to me to start including prostate cancer survivors as part of my research team very early on. I think that was very profound. And I think it has shaped the kind of work that I do. And it has actually made my work to be much more impactful if I had just stayed and done it by myself and not included the prostate cancer survivors. I think the second most impactful thing that I have done really has to be early on thinking about this idea of what is now recognized as consocial science. And that is this idea that it was very important that if we are going to solve a problem that is really devastating, that is broad, that can be found in multiple communities, especially across the world, it was very important for us to come together across the world and be able to address that problem. So establishing my consortium in 2005, which is the Prostate Cancer Transatlantic Consortium, actually changed the game in the way that we do our work. So those will be the two things that I think I've done that has really impacted my career.
Absolutely. Beautifully put. Now, we're going to switch gears a little to Cancer Research Africa's scholarship segment. Why do you personally think that this segment is important?
Thank you for asking that question. I think it's really, it's a very important question. And I want to commend Cancer Research Africa for even thinking about this. I know that your podcast and your YouTube and, your social media handle have really been promoting a lot about science that is coming out of Africa. And I also love your segments on the next gen that you're doing as well. But it's so important if we want to elevate cancer research in Africa, it is very important that we come together to really be able to provide information, knowledge, and the skills that is going to elevate cancer research in Africa. So, even thinking about research scholarship is really a very significant concept. So I applaud Cancer Research Africa for developing this concept. Becoming a successful cancer research scholar takes a lot. It's just not something that is just going to happen overnight. So you have to think about the fact that you have to have productive and independent creative research projects that have a lot of impact and that are innovative. Your research has to be significant. It has to be sustained in that particular field. You have to have continuous and effective engagement in high quality, significant, innovative, and creative projects. And then you have to have peer-reviewed accomplishments, whether it's grants, whether it's publications, whether it's presentation, whether it's awards, and so on and so forth in your field. This is not going to happen by sheer luck. It really is going to take having the knowledge, having the skills to be able to be successful as a cancer scientist. So this is one of the reasons why, these are the reasons, actually not one, these are the reasons why I feel that research scholarship segment is very important for Cancer Research Africa.
Yes. What would the Cancer Research Africa research scholarship segment focus on mainly?
All things research scholarship, all things research scholarship. You are going to be in for an amazing knowledge build, skills building segment. I have lined up a who is who, a list of renowned global cancer scientists. I haven't been in this field for almost 30 years, has allowed me to build a very robust network of outstanding cancer scientists all over the world, within and outside Africa. So that is who we are going to be bringing to be able to provide the knowledge and the skill base for research scholarship. We're going to start with the expectations for research scholarship and clearly outline what does success look like for a cancer scientist. Getting funded also is the cornerstone of a successful career. It does not matter how much you publish, it does not matter how much you present. If you are not finding funding for your research project, you cannot be successful at what you do. So we're going to have a series of sections on grant writing that is going to include getting funded, finding funding resources, project planning for grant writing, developing the concept for the grant, building a team of collaborators to work with you, matching the proposal to funding opportunity, understanding the program announcement, writing specific aims, the grant review process, writing to place reviewers, proposal development, administration, and so on and so on. In addition to grant writing, we will focus on publishing, presenting, mentoring, networking, and other tips. It's just going to be amazing. I'm excited to get the segment going.
Yes, we are excited over here too. There's going to be so many amazing tips from so many amazing scientists who have been in this game for decades. So you definitely do not want to miss that. We cannot wait to start filming our first episode this upcoming October. Now, have you picked anybody specifically for your first guest? And what will the topic be?
You know what? One of the things of being in this field is really having the knowledge of who to pick and who to not pick. Yes, I have. And we will announce the first cancer scientist guest shortly. I have approached the person and the person jumped on it and said, absolutely, yes. If this is for Cancer Research Africa, I want to do it. So, you know, a lot of scientists are excited about what Cancer Research Africa is doing. They really want to be able to come on and collaborate with Cancer Research Africa. So the very first topic will be an overview of expectations for successful research scholarship. So we want to set the stage. You know, when we say you are successful, you have arrived, what does it look like? And the person that I picked is definitely one of those people who we can say has arrived, you know, has done everything that we are going to be talking about and has done it successfully. So we're going to start with an overview.
Perfect. What else should we expect from the research scholarship segment?
You know what? I want this, you know, research scholarship segment to be a dynamic segment. So we would like to open this segment for African cancer scientists to submit their questions to our cancer scientist guests. So if they can submit their questions to Cancer Research Africa within 1 week of releasing the podcast episode, I would work with a cancer scientist to get the answers to their questions and then forward it to Cancer Research Africa to post on the social media, or even for you or one of the senior correspondents to actually do the answer, question and answer on air. So this is very important because we just don't want to talk about these things. There might be questions that are coming up from people. We won't be able to answer that questions.
Yes, perfect. A way you can reach out to us if you do have any questions that you would like us to answer, you can reach us on Twitter at @A Africa RCH, or Cancer Research Africa @outlook.com is our email. I'll go ahead and put that up on the screen, and think about those questions that you want us to answer for our segment. Now, lastly, is there anything else that you would like to share?
Now I'm just going to talk to your African cancer scientists right now. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss the Cancer Research Africa Research Scholarship segment. Stay tuned and stay engaged.
Yes. For joining Cancer Research Africa podcast and YouTube channel. We are very excited about the new research scholarship segment and hope that you are too. Remember, the best evidence comes from research. Once again, I am Abimbola Odedina. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for keeping cancer research going in Africa. Thank you so much for joining. I am so excited for this to get started.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Thank you, guys. Make sure you subscribe, share this video with your friends, and give us a thumbs up. Bye.